Operation Blackbird, a covert mission launched during a time when paranoia and mystery were at their peak. Unidentified flying objects, strange lights, and unexplained phenomena filled the skies of the 1980s, and the British government sought answers. But what really happened? Were they tracking something extraterrestrial? Or was it just Cold War-era tension manifesting in strange ways? In July of 1980, a top-secret British military mission, codenamed Operation Blackbird, was initiated. The mission? To investigate increasing reports of mysterious lights and unknown objects seen hovering over the Scottish Highlands. A select team of specialists, known as Sparrow, was sent to a remote location with orders to monitor, record, and if possible, intercept whatever was behind these sightings. Leading the Sparrows was Agent Carter, a veteran of countless secret missions, hardened by the knowledge of things the public would never learn. Alongside him was Dr. Monroe, an astrophysicist driven by his passion for the unknown, and Sergeant O'Neill, whose years in military operations made him fearless. Harris, a cryptographer, rounded out the team, responsible for ensuring that all communications remained secure and untraceable. The team arrived at the airfield under the cover of night. The surroundings were desolate, silent, but for the wind cutting through the mist. With little visibility and no civilization for miles, the team quickly set up their equipment: infrared cameras, radar systems, and motion detectors. It was a high-stakes mission. Every detail had to be recorded with precision. Midnight approached, and the tension grew palpable. The cold crept in, but the team remained focused, eyes glued to their instruments. Then, just past midnight, the ground seemed to hum beneath their feet. A low mechanical vibration filled the air. Carter scanned the horizon. Without warning, a bright orb appeared in the sky. It hovered, shifting colors, pulsating as though alive. The team scrambled to capture the event, but something was wrong.
This doesn't make sense. It's right there, but the instruments are blind.
Stay on alert. Something feels off.
The lights flickered once more and then vanished, leaving the team in stunned silence. But this was just the beginning. For the next 2 nights, the sightings increased in intensity. The strange lights returned, hovering, disappearing, and leaving the team more paranoid with each passing hour. But worse still, shadows started to appear at the edge of their base, barely visible through the thick fog. They were always watching, but never close enough to identify.
We're being watched.
Then, disaster struck. First, Sergeant O'Neill vanished during a routine perimeter check. His radio was found lying in the grass, crackling with static. The rest of the team searched frantically, but found nothing. The following night, Harris disappeared as well, without a trace. Monroe and Carter were the only ones left, and they knew they had to make a run for it. As they fled into the fog, desperate for escape, they realized it was too late. A dark figure emerged from the mist, tall, faceless, moving without sound. Before they could send out a final transmission, contact was lost. The last thing recorded was a brief signal burst, then silence. While the story of Sparrow Team is fictional, Operation Blackbird itself is a very real chapter in British military history. But what actually happened during this secretive mission? Let's take a closer look at the facts. Operation Blackbird was initiated in the early 1980s by the British Ministry of Defence. The primary goal was simple: to investigate the growing number of unidentified aerial phenomena UFO sightings over the Scottish Highlands. These sightings, which had been reported by both civilians and military personnel, were deemed a potential threat during the height of Cold War tensions. The military deployed a range of state-of-the-art technology for the time, including radar systems, infrared cameras, and specialized surveillance planes. The intention was clear: if these unidentified objects were Soviet aircraft or spy technology, they needed to be identified and intercepted. During the operation, military pilots and personnel reported seeing strange lights in the skies of these UFOs would hover silently, perform rapid maneuvers, and then disappear in an instant. Despite these sightings, the radar systems deployed during Operation Blackbird often failed to detect these objects, leaving the military without definitive proof. To understand Operation Blackbird, we need to place it in the broader context of UFO sightings during the Cold War. The 1970s and 1980s were rife with reports of unexplained phenomena, from the United States to Europe. Many of these reports came from reliable witnesses: military personnel, airline pilots, and even astronauts claiming to see lights or craft that defied the laws of physics. The Scottish Highlands were a particularly active hotspot for UFO sightings. Remote, sparsely populated, and strategically important during the Cold War, the region became the focus of several investigations, including Operation Blackbird. But why here? Was it simply an atmospheric anomaly, or was something more otherworldly at play? Operation Blackbird is often linked to another famous UFO case, the Rendlesham Forest incident, video coming soon, which occurred later that same year. In December 1980, U.S. military personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk reported seeing strange lights over the nearby forest. Many believe this was evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. Given the timing, some have speculated that both incidents were part of a larger pattern of UFO activity over the UK during that era. As with many UFO encounters, skepticism runs deep. Despite the compelling eyewitness testimonies, there's often a simpler explanation lurking just beneath the surface. Many of the equipment malfunctions reported during Operation Blackbird could easily be explained by technical glitches, which were not uncommon with the technology of the time. The radar systems, infrared cameras, and other equipment used in Operation Blackbird, though advanced for the 1980s, were far from foolproof. Radar glitches and misinterpretations could easily explain the inability to track these unidentified objects. Equipment failure at critical moments may have been due to environmental factors or simple technological limitations, rather than something otherworldly. There are also several alternative theories that may explain the sightings. Weather balloons, for example, have long been mistaken for UFOs due to their reflective surfaces and erratic movements. During the Cold War, experimental military aircraft from both the US and the Soviet Union were also being tested, often in secret. These craft, designed to evade radar detection, could have easily been misidentified as extraterrestrial due to their unusual shapes and capabilities. Atmospheric anomalies also play a role in many UFO sightings. Reflections of light from distant objects, combined with certain weather conditions, can create optical illusions, making distant planes or even planets appear as glowing orbs. Temperature inversions, in particular, can create layers in the atmosphere that bend light, leading to misinterpretations of what is actually in the sky. Venus, one of the brightest objects in the sky, is often mistaken for a UFO. Its brightness and slow movement can give the illusion of a hovering object, especially when viewed under certain conditions. Many of the sightings during Operation Blackbird may have been misidentifications of natural celestial bodies or distant aircraft. Declassified military documents reveal that during the 1980s, Britain was actively conducting tests with experimental aircraft. These planes, designed to fly at high altitudes and evade radar detection, may have been responsible for some of the sightings. It's easy to see how these advanced aircraft could have been mistaken for UFOs by even trained military personnel. Operation Blackbird, like many other UFO investigations, has been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories over the years. Some believe that the British government knew much more than they let on, that the mission wasn't just about monitoring strange lights, but about covering up evidence of extraterrestrial life. According to these theories, the public was deliberately kept in the dark, with crucial pieces of evidence hidden away in classified military files. UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists have long pushed for full disclosure from the government, convinced that behind closed doors, officials have proof of extraterrestrial contact. To this day, many believe that the events of Operation Blackbird are part of a broader global cover-up, hiding the truth about alien visitation. Despite the release of some declassified documents over the years, many key details remain obscured. Redacted files fuel speculation that the government is still hiding something, that perhaps there was more to the lights seen over the highlands than meets the eye. In recent years, the conversation around UFOs has reignited, with governments around the world declassifying files and releasing footage of unidentified aerial phenomena. These disclosures have raised new questions about what the military knows and how much information they've chosen to keep from the public. Could Operation Blackbird have been an early step in a much larger and ongoing investigation into extraterrestrial activity? The connection between Operation Blackbird and the Rendlesham Forest incident continues to intrigue UFO researchers. Occurring just months after Operation Blackbird, the Rendlesham sightings involved U.S. military personnel stationed at RAF Woodbridge. They reported seeing strange lights in the forest, which seemed to defy the laws of physics. Much like the sightings in Scotland, the Rendlesham lights hovered, moved erratically, and disappeared without a trace. Witness accounts from both events describe eerily similar phenomena: glowing orbs that moved in ways no known aircraft could replicate, and sightings of shadowy figures at the edge of the encounter zone. Some believe that both incidents are part of a larger pattern of UFO activity across the UK, a wave of sightings that may have been the result of experimental aircraft, or something far stranger. Conspiracy theorists have gone a step further, suggesting that both Operation Blackbird and the Rendlesham incident were not isolated events, but part of an extraterrestrial interest in military installations. These theories propose that alien craft have been monitoring Earth's military technology for decades, keeping a watchful eye on humanity's advancements in weapons and defense systems. Whether the sightings during Operation Blackbird were the result of misidentifications, experimental aircraft, or something truly beyond our understanding, the mystery remains. The secrecy surrounding the operation, coupled with the compelling eyewitness accounts, continues to fuel speculation. What was really happening in the skies over Scotland? And more importantly, will we ever know the full truth? Perhaps the truth is out there, waiting to be discovered. Or perhaps it's been hidden in plain sight all along. What do you think? Was Operation Blackbird a misunderstood Cold War military mission? Or is there more to the story than we've been told? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.